Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Club Junkie podcast. Doing this actually live from my hotel room. So if the sound is a little off or whatever, I apologize. Kind of doing this right from the Odyssey Ai-ONE putter launch event. So I'm doing this right from my hotel room. But anyway, before we get into today's episode, I just want to let you know this episode brought to you by Titleist and the new T-Series irons. Listen, you guys know I have the T150s, T200, T150 kind of combo set, and the whole T-Series has been revamped for this year. Tons more tech, way more forgiving, longer, higher flying, better turf interaction, you name it. They have optimized everything from the T100 to the T150 to the T200 to the T350. So whole new line of irons. I went and did my Titleist fitting. It was awesome. I tell you guys all the time, if you're going to go get a fit for irons, definitely go get a Titleist fitting done. Had a blast. Got to hit all the irons, which was just a ton of fun. And my set ended up being a T200 4 and 5 iron, and then a T150 6 through pitching wedge. So great combo set. The long irons give me a little more distance, a little more height. Short irons give me great feel, great distance control. So go to Titleist.com. Check out more about the T-Series irons and schedule your Titleist T-Series fitting today. But yeah, I'm out here in Dallas, or just outside of Dallas, Texas. I'm in Frisco, Texas, at the Omni PGA Frisco Resort, and here doing the brand new Odyssey putter launch. So the Odyssey just launched the Ai-ONE and Ai-ONE milled putters. If you guys haven't seen it yet, go to golfwrx.com. We have the whole article on the front page. But basically, brand new inserts, revolutionary inserts, and Odyssey is using AI to optimize the inserts. And what they're trying to do is basically get the ball closer to the hole, no matter where you hit it on the face. So the new insert there, especially the Ai-ONE, is going to have a aluminum and urethane insert. So it's going to be very similar to White Hot. It's going to have a urethane front on it, an aluminum back. And if you actually look at some of the putters, they have a little window. You can actually see in and see kind of the texture or the all the kind of the different. I'm trying to find a way to say it, but basically how they mill the back of this aluminum piece with the urethane. And what they're trying to do is basically just make the sweet spot bigger, so you carry more ball speed on shots that aren't hit dead center. Because they found through their research, even their pros don't hit it dead center all the time, and when you miss it on the heel, miss it on the toe, you typically see some distance loss and things like that. So these faces are designed to reduce that, and yeah, they've got the Ai-ONE, which is going to be kind of like a White Hot style insert, feels very, very similar, and then they've got the Ai-ONE milled, which is actually a titanium insert that is milled and done the same way. And the back of it has kind of a texture to it, kind of a topography to it that helps that face kind of flex and produce better, more consistent ball speed. So the Ai-ONE milled, the milled one's going to feel just a touch firmer. It's going to have that milled putter feel, where the Ai-ONE is going to have that soft insert feel. And we were out today. They did a big launch thing, did a big presentation, and then PGA Frisco here has an absolutely monster putting green, so we went out there, got to putt, got to do all that, and then also as well did kind of like a kind of a small kind of putter fitting. It wasn't really a fitting so much as just kind of working with a Callaway rep and kind of hitting different putters and figuring out which one is working best for you. It wasn't on Quintec or on a Sam Lab or anything like that, but it was just kind of a putter, little putter fitting, and then they're going to build all these putters overnight so we can play with them tomorrow, which is pretty wild, but really cool event. They had Sam Burns, John Rahm, Xander up there. They had talking about kind of the AI putters. I know Rahm has already put one in play. He had one at the Ryder Cup, and I think he had it just before that as well when he played. And then Sam Burns, I think, was one of the first PGA Tour pros to have it in testing. He was testing at the Tour Championship, and I think Tursky had photos of that from when he was there. So pretty big thing. Those guys are switching. I mean, Sam Burns is a guy who doesn't switch much at all. So Rahm doesn't switch putters a whole lot either. So pretty interesting to see those guys switching pretty quickly. Xander said he hasn't switched yet, but he's got a bunch of putters on the way for him that he will be testing out in this offseason to go into next year, but pretty cool. And so saw the whole presentation. Pretty interesting that using AI for these faces. If you pull the face out, as I said, you can kind of see this kind of topography of, kind of waves and bumps and things like that on these inserts. And some of the heads, like some of the mallets and stuff like that, and even the blades, there's actually a little window where you can actually see into the insert. And what they found is, getting the ball closer to the hole, reduce the reputts, and add some consistency to putts. And they did a study with some of the tour pros where I want to say, like, on tour, if they could have removed, like, I don't know, a bunch of 3-putts, it would have been saving tour pros $25 million, or made them $25 million more. So they had kind of some interesting data on that. But the putters look really good. I don't have one in front of me, so if you're watching this on YouTube, I know it's just my face, but they're building my putter, so I'll have it tomorrow. I'll do some photos and stuff like that. We'll talk about which one I kind of got fit into, which was a totally different putter than I thought. I went into it thinking I was going to get kind of one or two, and neither one. I mean, both were good, but I ended up with a different model altogether, which is pretty amazing. But the Ai-ONE, we'll start with that one there, just to kind of talk about the review of it in a sense. Really good looking putter. They're kind of this really dark navy blue color. A lot of classic shapes that you would expect from these putters. I mean, you have a double wide with a double bend, an Ai-ONE Rossi S, which is kind of the putter Rom uses. It does have sight lines on the retail one, where I think his is still going to be blank for his. The Ai-ONE number 1, which is just kind of like a Newport model, crank hosel, just a small blade. And then you have the number 7 in either a plumber's neck or crank hosel, whatever, CH, or the 1-7S, which has got that little slant neck. So the slant neck's going to have a little more toe hang than the crank hosel. So those are going to be the AI-ONEs. And I know there's going to be a few more models coming out, I think later in the year, but right now we're seeing, or later in or early into next year, but right now we're going to see basically these 5 models out of the gate, and then we'll probably see some more next year. But overall, I think the finish looks really good. The dark kind of navy blue. So we were putting out there on this monster putting green. I mean, massive. It has to be 100 yards long. I mean, it was just, it's huge. Probably even longer than that. And out, and it's lit up. So, like, this is nighttime. Had these things out there at night, and out in the night they look black. If the sunlight's not hitting them, they look black. When the sunlight's out, like when I first got there, definitely a kind of a dark navy blue. I really like the finish. I think it looks really good. You guys know me. I like dark finishes, and this blue one looks really good. And it's something that's slightly different than just being, just a matte black or something like that. No glare that I could see off any of them. Now, granted, it wasn't like the craziest, brightest day out here, but didn't notice any glare. But yeah, pretty much a lot of Odyssey look to them. And on the bottom, you've got 2 movable weights. 2 large kind of circular movable weights, and I don't know if they're going to make weight kits available right away, but they do have them on there. So overall, really good looking putter. These are online already. You can already pre-order them, and the standard Ai-ONE are like $299 for, I think, all of them. So all the ones they're releasing now are $299. No Stroke Lab shaft, which is really interesting. They're just doing a steel shaft, a little lighter weight. So they're doing a lighter weight steel shaft, so they can basically kind of dial in the head weight and stuff like that. I believe there's just a smidge of a counterbalance weight in the grip, something pretty small, but just a small one in there. Lighter all steel shaft. I think they call it the Stroke Lab 90, and it's like a 90-gram steel shaft. So they're going to offer the standard or the next, the 2-piece graphite steel, I think, as an option, as a custom option. And they look really good. I'm going to give one knock to both putters. The steel shafts have kind of a very large kind of sticker as the logo on the shaft. I'm going to give that a knock. I don't really love the look of it. I feel like that's going to get beat up. It's just too big, and it'll start to peel and stuff like that. And I think it just doesn't kind of do the putters justice with those there. Grips on there will be the stock kind of wind-style Odyssey grips that feel pretty good. So the Ai-ONE, which has that urethane insert, kind of white hot insert, basically it feels pretty much like a white hot putter. There's not a whole lot of difference there. If you didn't know, I think it maybe feels like just a smidge firmer, because it's a thinner piece of urethane and then an aluminum back to it. But I think it feels maybe just a hair firmer than the actual white hot, but it's very, very close. And then it also has kind of a horizontal groove pattern around it as well, that kind of promotes a little bit more forward roll. That's not part of the story, but that's what it is there for. So putting with those, I was kind of putting with a lot of the mallets. I put it with the number one, the blade, excuse me, and putting with those, it kind of like is putting with just a hair firmer, white hot OG. It is very similar there. The one difference is, I know people sit there, they look at like tech like this and doesn't actually work. I felt like with both putters, AI-ONE milled, there was mishits that were just really consistent. I felt like no matter where you hit it on the face, you could kind of cluster the group of balls if they didn't go in the hole very, very closely. And there were putts that I hit that I knew I hit off the toe or whatever that ended up right next to a ball that I thought I hit fairly well. I mean, they really were consistent. They're really tight. The balls just really rolled very, very similar no matter where you hit it on the face. It was pretty surprising, and it wasn't anything that like jumped out that you're just like if you didn't know and you just took the putter and putted with it, I think that you'd almost not even notice it, and the putt, the ball would just roll to where it went. But when you're hitting putt after putt on a putting green, and you're kind of hitting them side by side and all that, it's pretty noticeable that you can see these balls really do roll out at a much more consistent distance than I feel like the standard white hot OG or something like that. And it doesn't feel any different. When you hit it off the toe a little bit, hit off the heel, the feel is still going to be pretty good. It's responsive. You're going to kind of notice it. It's in the AI-ONE with that urethane insert. It's a little deadened. If you hit it off the toe, hit it off the heel a little bit, it's going to be a little harder to notice where that was or how far you missed it or anything like that. But on the milled, you will notice it a little more. But the AI-ONE, it is just a softer insert, and you do get that really soft urethane feel. So the feel's good. If you like that, if you're an OG fan or you're just a fan of Odyssey inserts in general, you're really going to like this one. It definitely is not something that's much different compared to the older or previous inserts that they've done. It really feels similar. Stability on mishits, depending on the model, the number one blade, yes, you're not going to get a ton of stability out of that thing. It does have movable weight, so it's got some mass on the very outside. And it's pretty good with misses, but the mallets, you definitely can notice that those things stay on line really well. And then added with an insert that keeps that ball rolling, they tend to make a very, very consistent putting outcome, no matter where you hit it on the face. And that forward roll, I didn't notice a huge difference in forward roll. I've always thought that the Odyssey inserts roll the ball pretty decently. They may have a hair of hop and skid, but nothing too crazy. I didn't notice anything vastly different, even between the two putters of forward roll. Those horizontal grooves, I bet they'd probably do something, but I didn't notice it on the putting green we were using. The number 7S was kind of my favorite out of the AI-ONEs. I've been kind of a fan of those, slant neck type putters, recently, and that one there was just really good. I mean, it's got a lot of, it's a number 7. It's got a lot of stability. It's got a lot of, pretty high MOI, and then you add in this new insert, and I was putting really well with it. I thought it was probably going to be pretty close to the one that I would get fit into, but that didn't end up being the case. But the 7S was really good. I think that putter there with that a little bit of toe hang, that added toe hang, it just makes it really easy to kind of square up. You can kind of feel the putter wanting to release through the stroke and at impact. The 7CH was really good. I didn't putt with the Rossi S. I did putt with that one kind of at home. They sent us one in for media samples, and that thing just doesn't fit my eye, and I think with the dual sight lines, I just don't line it up as well. The double wide was really good. I think that, for a mallet, or a blade that offers some forgiveness and stability like a mallet, definitely worth looking at. I really like that one. And then I was messing with the AI-ONE number 1, really just traditional, clean mallet, just a single sight line, or a blade with just a single sight line on the flange, but a nice kind of cool window into the back of it to see the back of that AI face. The mallets have kind of a little window on the sole where you can kind of see in. It's a little harder to see, but you can kind of see in there and see the AI face there as well. The AI one's really solid, roll the ball really, really well. I think these are going to be really popular putters. It sounds like we're going to see a lot of kind of adoption on tour really quickly. We'll see how that goes when the season starts up. But I think these ones, honestly, offered probably the best consistency in miss hits. I think that more flexible urethane face with the aluminum back, I think offered better, misses than than the milled version. But these things were just really consistent. I mean, once I had kind of the head shape I like I was putting a lot with the number one just because I like it. It's kind of a cool blade. I don't really play blades, and I didn't make a ton of putts with it, but it felt really good. And honestly, no matter where I hit that ball in the face, it seemed to roll really straight. It seemed to roll as far as I thought it would. Everything about it just performed really, really well. And I think that AI-ONE insert just kind of offers the maximum in terms of forgiveness and consistency. When when you hit it dead center, it works great. When you miss it, I think it works really well as well. And I think it carries a little more ball speed or a little more distance than the milled version on the same miss, especially if you get further away from center. So AI-ONE's really, really solid. I really liked them. And then I thought they performed exceptionally well. So, I mean, I would have been happy doing an AI-ONE with no problem. And then we get into the milled ones. So the milled ones basically have a milled titanium insert. It kind of looks like copper, almost looks like a Scotty Turrillium, but it's a titanium insert that's got kind of I'll call it a medium depth mill. It's not super deep, but it's definitely not a shallow milling on that face, and it's got a little insert. And it's interesting when you look at kind of a view of the inserts. The urethane one kind of has like one large hump and a little section that's kind of out as well that comes away from the face. When you look at the insert of the titanium one, it's got way more in terms of like topography. It's got like a ton of hills and little rises, and it's just way more textured in the back than I thought. I thought the urethane one would have that because it'd be so much more flexible. But the titanium one actually has all the movement. And the downside is there are no windows to view that one on any of the putters. So there's nothing on the sole, nothing in the back cavity, anything like that where you can see the back of that insert, which is a bummer because it looks really, really cool when you see it outside of the head. A few more milled models than the AI-ONEs right out of the gate. Again, I think we're going to see more of these come next year. But you've got the AI-ONE, which is kind of the Newport blade, the more rounded, little shorter blade. And then you've got the AI-ONE milled 2, which is going to be the kind of squared off, kind of Newport 2 style head. The AI-ONE milled 3T S is kind of my favorite shape on all of them. It's like this like half moon mallet with a flat back. Absolutely loved it. When they handed it to me, I was so excited. And then I hit some putts with it, and I could not hit it. I couldn't get it started online. I was right, I was left, I was everywhere. And it was just a bummer because I love the shape of it. It looks so good. And I could not get it online. And it's funny because they made a 3T, I want to say in like the O-Works when that came out. They made a 3T, very similar head. And I remember I bought that one, and I couldn't putt with it. It was the same thing. I couldn't putt with it. I could not make a putt with it, but I love the shape of it. I think it looks so good, but I just couldn't make a putt with it. So the one that Odyssey's really excited about is the 6T, which is kind of a half-circle, larger mallet. I guess that one's got a lot of interest from a lot of different players. They're super excited about that one. And then you've got the number 7 with a double bend, number 7 with a plumber's neck or crank hosel. And then you've got the 11, which is kind of that angled, larger mallet, got kind of a triple track type design, 3 sight lines on the top. And then the number 8, which is kind of like a Toulon Daytona, very similar look there, a little more rounded mallet with a single sight line on the top. And it's an S, so it's got the slant neck on it. And these ones here, actually, I really love the feel. A little bit firmer, but not crazy firm. Like, they're still pretty soft. If you didn't know that insert was titanium, you'd probably think it was aluminum or something like that. It just has that really kind of softer feel to it without having like a crazy, crazy deep milling. But really good feel, very responsive. When you miss it on the toe, miss it on the heel, you just get that little bit of audible feedback, a little bit of vibration. Nothing crazy, nothing harsh. Just a really good feel. And when you strike it in the dead center, it's just got a really, really soft, really solid feel to them. So really dialed that in. And I think they kind of nailed the sound and feel on the milled series. Out of all these, and I was putting with them, the number 7T crank hosel, the one with the plumber's neck, was the one after putting, like right out of the gate. I tried it 3, didn't work. I just couldn't get it started online. The 7, excuse me, the 7CH really putted well with. I thought that was probably going to be the one that went in the bag. That was really, really good. Just felt really comfortable. Just enough toe hang and through the stroke, you could just kind of feel it. Again, release. It just felt really comfortable. Didn't have to manipulate it in any way through the stroke. And then also tried the number 11, which was pretty good. The number 11 was pretty solid. That double bend face balance, I put it pretty well with that. And then when they handed me kind of the 11 and the 8, I kind of was like, well, I like the look of the 11, the angled 11 a little bit better than the 8. But the 8, for whatever reason, I started putting with it, and man, everything started online. We were kind of picked out. We had this kind of uphill putt that broke probably about a foot from right to left. And there was kind of like this little Odyssey round display piece on there. And I was aiming at like the AI in the one side, which is about a foot, maybe foot and a half right of the hole. And every time I hit, and there was a little post that was holding up the sign kind of right there. And I hit that post like 2 or 3 times. I was right under the AI almost every time. I mean, I just got the ball started on the line I wanted, my intended line, every single time with the 8TS. It was just kind of shocking. Because, again, it's not a head shape that I was drawn to, nothing that I truly loved. But I think there's something with a sight line that runs face, like from the actual front face to the actual back, and there's no breakup of it, that I seem to line up better, because the 3T has a long sight line on the flange, but nothing on the top line. And I think that breaking up of the sight line does something to me. And John, the guy who was fitting me, kind of said there's some people that, with those broken sight lines, that have a top line that's naked, sight line on the flange, that they tend to miss stuff a lot left. They just kind of shut it early or something like that. But I didn't have that problem. I was right and left. It was both with that putter. But the Ai-ONE, the 8TS, was really, really good. Like I said, I started everything right on line with it, which was really, really nice. And then the distance control was really, really good with it as well. I mean, much like the urethane, I did notice that as you push it out towards the toe and the heel, I felt like there was maybe a little bit distance loss. Like if I had like 4 balls in front of me, and I was putting, and if I didn't make any of them, there would be a little bigger kind of circle of where those balls would land. Whereas with the urethane insert Ai-ONEs, I mean, they'd be like touching sometimes. You'd have like 2 or 3 that were like almost touching. I noticed there was just a little bit larger, but nothing crazy. I mean, it was like a couple inches in between balls when you hit decent putts. If you blast someone by, that's just what you did. But with that 8TS, I just putted really well with it. And I think, again, even that titanium face, it still has some of that flexibility and some of that where you will get the ball, to basically the hole. I mean, no matter where you hit it on the face, if you miss it off the heel, miss it off the toe, you're still going to get that distance out of it. And honestly, missing it off there, it stayed on line really well too. It was kind of crazy. I think there was something to this face. I think it does work a little bit. It does do something, because I'm not that great of a putter, and to see that kind of consistency was pretty amazing. So the ball stayed on line well too. When you hit it off the toe, you didn't see anything that was left out to the right as much, or the same thing with the heel. The ball stayed at the intended target, and it rolled basically the distance that you thought it would. It was pretty impressive. So had a lot of fun hitting those. So yeah, I got fit into a Ai-ONE milled 8TS putter. 33 inches, I think, are we going 1 flat or something like that? I think we're going 1 flat with the standard grip on it. So really excited to get this putter out there and hit it. And I should have it tomorrow. So they were building them up. I didn't see mine done yet. I know they had a huge pile of putters. They were just ripping through building putters, which was pretty cool. So I don't have it yet. I should have it tomorrow. They're taking out the course. I brought my Odyssey 5K number 7 crank hosel with a KBS GPS 120 in there. That's what I brought as kind of like the putter to play with tomorrow, but I should have this new one as well. So it'll be pretty interesting to kind of compare the two and hit them. I'm excited to hit that thing. I have not played in I haven't swung a club in a little bit, so I'm a little nervous there about playing, but I think it should be fun. Got the triple play Apex Pro irons in the bag, and it should be a good round. So excited to play here and test out the new putter actually on the course. But so far on the putting green, really impressed with what Odyssey's done with these. So I will report back. Definitely, you're definitely going to see some pictures online and some videos and stuff like that. Of me out there putting, practicing, using it, and all that. So definitely make sure you're following the main Golf WRX channel. I posted a bunch of stories up there about that thing, and then also follow the old Club Junkie account. We'll see what we do. So I know this is gonna be a short one, but it's already late. It's like 11:30, and we gotta get up tomorrow for breakfast and golf and all that. So I'm about to head to bed. But hopefully you guys, like I said, follow along, and I'll update you more further on these putters the more I play with them. So hopefully you guys have a good weekend. Play some golf if you can. Hopefully you're not living in Michigan back home where it's pretty cold, but get out there, play some golf, have some fun, and then we'll talk further on these new Ai-ONE putters once I get them onto the course and play them a little bit. So have a good week, and we'll talk soon, guys.